Join us on the last bus home.
Yeah, and that's pretty much why I'm not allowed to do science anymore.
What, any of it?
None of it.
None of the science? Wow. Well, at least it leaves some science for the rest of us.
Hey, you play with Bunsen burners, you're going to get burnt. You know what I'm saying, Holmes?
True. So, what are you going to cheer me up with after that bombshell?
Well, mate, we are taking the wheel for a late night ride to Down Under. We're going to be looking at Australia tonight.
Ooh.
The paranormal world of Australia. So it's got some weird and wild tales. So we're going to drive past creatures, outback beasts, drop bears, and some proper haunted spots that are going to make you shit your pants.
All right, cool. Well, let's go.
Let's do this. Well, as you know, Australia is home of the deadly everything, okay, especially the paranormal. We've got some indigenous lore that goes back tens of thousands of years. And then you got the settlers going in, adding their own twists, and what you're left with is like cryptids that sound like someone spiked the punch. So you'll enjoy this one, mate. I know you're a cryptids fan. Now, being the ignorant guy I am, don't know too much about Australia. Don't know if you know a lot on the background. What I can tell you is, certainly for me, sense of humour, top. But as far as the history goes, not on this show, mate.
Okay, well, luckily, this isn't a history show, so...
Exactly.
And if anyone's showing up for facts, then they might as well kick rocks.
Get off at the next stop, love. That's what I say.
You're on the wrong bus. Factsville is the other way.
Exactly. Right, so let's get straight into it. I'm going to have a look at some cryptids and some monsters. So I've got a couple of famous ones just to warm us up with. You might have heard of a few of these. We might have even possibly covered one, which we'll get to in a previous episode.
Maybe even possibly have made some of them up.
You never know.
But yeah, go for it, Lee. Let try and change me.
Okay, mate. Well, we'll start with the bunyip.
Yep. That's probably the most famous.
Exactly. So this amphibious creature from Aboriginal lore inhabits swamps, so it's a swamp dweller. Often described as a seal dog hybrid with fur, large ears, tusks, and flippers, so it looks kind of muffed up. It's got a horse's tail as well. It's known for its terrifying bellows and is seen as a punishing spirit that devours humans, so pretty nasty one. And it only seems to do its devouring at night. So, you know, I'd say this is one of the evil side of the cryptids. In 1818, explorers Hamilton Hume and James Meehan reported a bunyip carcass at Lake Bathurst. During the 1800s, British settlers documented numerous encounters in like the riverbeds. Sightings peaked in the 1930s amid the Great Depression. And one 1845 account from Victoria described a large, hairy creature with a round head emerging from the lake. That'd be pretty terrifying.
The description and what it does, it sounds quite a big, scary lad. But the name Bunyip, it really takes the edge off it.
Lures you into a false sense of security.
It does. It's a bit, I don't know, probably because it sounds like bunny. But
maybe it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's a nasty character.
So what do we think? Is it an actual animal in itself, or have we got any real life animal that it may resemble or may be? Because it turns out a lot of the African ones are just hippos, really, which are otherwise known as swamp knobs. So
no, I think this is a straight up, pretty much like an undiscovered monster, if you ask me. I think it's very low in numbers. That's why it doesn't get spotted. But I think the Australians got a real problem with this guy. Anyway, moving on to the next one, because I think you'll like this guy. This is basically Australians' answer to the Bigfoot or the Yeti.
The Yowie.
It's called the Yowie.
Yeah.
So the yowie is tall, 6 to 7 feet, muscular, hairy hominid with a flat nose, large paws, and black or brown fur. Now, it can be shy, territorial, or aggressive, often running on all fours despite being bipedal. Rooted in Aboriginal stories as a hairy man or guardian spirit. So, theories suggest that it could be like a remnant of an extinct ape, I guess similar to Bigfoot. Accounts date back to the 1700s with this guy, so as far as I could tell, there's been a lot. So, again, similar to Bigfoot, it's well spotted. So there was a sage basically in the 1850s across New South Wales and Queensland's Gold Coast. In 1997, a woman in the Tanami Desert awoke to a 7-foot hairy figure at 3 a.m. Could have been anything, but might have been the yowie. Who knows? Depends what she was wearing. Police found giant footprints and a damaged irrigation pipe. Bro hates pipes. What can you say? Modern yowie hunters continue searches in forested areas like the Mauhau Range. So there you go.
So is it the forested areas where the yowie is more likely to be spotted and not in the kind of scrublands?
I would say so, pretty much. Yeah. I know there's a difference,
I suppose.
But again, just seems to resemble every bit of the Bigfoot. So these dudes are everywhere, you know. We've all got different names for them. But Bigfoot exists. It's just time to realise it. Anyway, moving on. We've got the drop bear. Drop bear to me is what Chucky is to horror. Do you know what I mean? It's like, ideally, if Chucky, the killer doll, was running at me, most people would just pick it up and put it in the bin and sit on the bin until the police came. But in a movie, you know, it's completely different. I would say the same with the drop bear, because this is a koala-like predator. And as we know, koalas, they're not the scariest of things. Do you know what I mean? If one drops out of a tree, you pick it up and you throw it, don't you?
It's not real.
Mate.
It's not even a cryptid. I'm not standing for the drop bear to be included.
You want me to skip drop bear?
It's not a real anything.
Yeah, screw it. I'll move on. Right. The Hawkesbury River Monster, or the Mullywonk.
Now we're talking.
Okay, so this is a serpent-like water beast resembling a plesiosaur. Okay, up to 24 meters long with a grey eel-like body, elongated neck, 4 flippers, and a big old thick tail. So it's shy and non-hostile. So it's all right if you're swimming up to this guy. Might not mess with you. It's linked to Aboriginal rock art over 3,000 years old. Some explanations include misidentified crocodiles or eels, but I'm calling BS on that. Documented in the 1800s by settlers as the Mooney Monster. So some modern reports describe dinosaur-like heads breaching the river near Sydney, and there's hundreds of accounts that have basically, said they've seen these things. As such, no concrete evidence, but what are you going to do if people have seen it? It's sort of like the Loch Ness Monster.
The thing is, for a place that's so croc heavy, you're going to see a lot of stuff. And if you're not from there and you're just visiting, you're going to see some frightening things.
Truth. Well, speaking of frightening things, not too much on this next one, but I would say it's my favourite of all the creatures and cryptids I came across. So this is the Yara Ma Yahawu, a small red-skinned vampire-like goblin with an oversized head, no teeth, and suckers on its fingers and toes. So it's said to drop from fig trees to drain the blood and swallow victims whole, and then regurgitate them, repeating until they transform into one itself. That's nasty.
So a toothless vampire?
A toothless vampire, well, basically goblin with an oversized head. Yeah, and does all this sucking through, I'm guessing it's food, isn't it?
Does its goblin through its hands?
Exactly.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, I like that little guy. He was good. Not too much on him, but doesn't need to be, does there? So, this one's lovingly called Old Three Toes, the Burrenjaw. A bipedal reptilian dinosaur-like cryptid, 20 to 25 feet tall with small arms, powerful legs, and three-toed feet. It roams the outback, feasting on livestock and leaving massive footprints. Possibly a surviving megalania or parental lizard, who knows? Reported by stockmen from the 1950s to 1980s in South Australia and the Northern Territory. Linked to missing cattle, so this dinosaur-like creature just goes around just trashing everyone's cows. One 1950s account described a nocturnal reptile charging through the bush. So again, kind of a nasty one. I won't want to come across that one in the middle of the outback.
It does sound a bit formidable, that one. Like.
Well, moving on. This one sounds a bit nicer. The rainbow serpent. A colossal, multicolored snake from Dreamtime lore, symbolizing creation, fertility, and water. So this is a bit more of like a folklore.
Oh, Dreamtime, isn't that the native Australians' Dreamtime or Dreamland? Isn't that like where you are before you're born and after you die? It's like there.
Definitely, mate.
Maybe limbo or something.
Yeah, it seems to be where a lot of their cryptid stories come from.
So their shadow world. Yeah, their borderland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the spirit realm.
Yeah.
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 So this creature, it carved rivers and mountains while shaping the land and controls rains and flood as punishment. So it's actually linked to the extinct Wonambi python. So again, it's sort of how the story is basically explained how we came to be in the lands and things like that. But yeah, quite a cool one. Moving on to the old Tasmanian tiger, the thylacine, a striped dog like marsupial, officially extinct since 1936, but cryptid status persists due to alleged survivals. So it might still be out there.
There's actual footage of thylacines on YouTube as well. I don't mean some blurry picture of a dog. I mean, there's actual footage of one in a zoo. It was the last one, well, apparently the last surviving one was in a zoo and it died, which is why it's not classed as extinct, but they are being spotted.
Fair play.
But yeah, if you go on YouTube, you can get, there is black and white footage of an actual Tasmanian tiger. It's basically kind of like a fox with its back end striped, but it's got a really weird, long, thin snout, like a really big, wide mouth.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is genuine footage out there.
Says you're one of a few venomous mammals. So it's like carnivorous with a stiff tail and powerful jaws. Post-extinction reports include a 1982 sighting in Tasmania and mainland accounts, like the beast of Badarim. Plaster casts of the footprints also exists. A lot of people, like you said, fueling de-extinction debates, so they might still be about. Maybe the Yowie has tamed them and they're just like Bigfoot's dogs. That'd be pretty cool.
Possibly.
See him walking around.
Maybe he walks around them and a big pack of them and he sends them after fighting bunyips and stuff. And not fighting drop bears because they're not real.
This one was quite a cool one. It's a difficult one to pronounce. The Mulgy Wank. A water spirit.
Didn't seem to have a lot of trouble pronouncing that, like.
I just went for it, mate. It rolled off the tongue. So this is a water spirit or merfolk race in the Murray River. So it's got human fish hybrid features and seaweed hair. It's said to ambush, hiding in the vegetation. So again, a malevolent one. It destroys fishing nets, things like that. It was mainly used by again, another difficult one to pronounce, but I'll try my best. The Nangajeri elders use stories of this to warn children of deep waters. Similar, I guess, to our versions of like the harpies and the
kelpies.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? It was like, don't go in the water because there's strange beasts in there that'll rip your head off. So the Hook Island sea monster. a tadpole-like sea creature with a long neck and fins, photographed in 1964 near Queensland.
Oh, is that one in the? Is that one in the like really blue water? It is literally just like a big tadpole.
Might be, but
There's
it's
a guy on
so
the canoe nearby, I think, who took the
there's a
photo.
guy called Robert Laseric, and he captured images of 30-foot beast in Stonehaven Bay.
Yeah.
So
It's in
could be
pretty
the one.
much most cryptid books. Is that picture? It
Nice.
is literally like a big tadpole or a big black sperm. Yeah.
Cool. Well, there's a few of Australia's more known about cryptids. I liked them. Seem a bit more kind of nastier than a few of the other ones we've gone, like actual proper monsters, which I'm all about. But moving on from the monsters, we're going to hit up the spirit realm, and we're going to check out some ghosts. So some of Australia's most famous ghost stories and hauntings, and maybe a few lesser known ones. So let's have a run through. It's got its fair share, like its cryptids. So Fisher's Ghost in Campbelltown, New South Wales. So this story stems from a real 1826 murder where farmer Frederick Fisher disappeared, and his neighbour George Worrell was convicted after claiming Fisher left for England. Fisher's body was later found in a creek, leading to Worrell's execution. So the ghostly element was popularised in an 1836 tale where Fisher's spirit allegedly guided a local to the body. So there's been a few kind of like sightings of this. So farmer John Farley claimed to see Fisher's ghosts sitting on the rail fence, pointing to the creek where the body was hidden. And some modern reports include apparitions near Fisher's Ghost Creek during festivals, which they have there, and some locals who live around the area quoting that they're hearing loud moans at night and seeing a blood-stained figure kind of wandering around. So Fisher's Ghost, don't want to leave. Had enough. The Beechworth Lunatic Asylum in Mayday Hills, Victoria. So this place was opened in 1867 as a psychiatric hospital, and it housed thousands of patients over 128 years until it closed not that long ago in 1995. It was notorious for harsh treatments, overcrowding, patient deaths estimated at 9,000, and it did stuff like lobotomies, electroshock therapy. It was proper brutal. Now part of La Trobe University, and it offers ghost tours, so not all bad. Tour guides who do the ghost tours report seeing Matron Sharp as a grey hooded figure in period attire gliding through wards. Visitors hear like mysterious screams, doors slamming. There was a medium there who photographed a woman at a window from which she was allegedly thrown by like inmates. An old man in a green jacket appears in the gardens at dusk, vanishing when approached, and just loads of stories like that of like, I'm guessing the old inmates who died of a tragic death. And that would be one place I would say where, due to its history, there's a lot of bad energy there. So the veil to the spirit realm is thin. That's why you're seeing these dudes. So yeah, I would not like to go there. Hero of Waterloo Pub, Sydney, New South Wales. So built in 1943 by convicts, it's Australia's oldest continuously licensed pub. It was a hub for rum smuggling via a secret cellar tunnel to the wharf. The publican drugged sailors and shanghaied them onto ships. In 1849, landlady Anne Kirkman was murdered by her husband Thomas, who pushed her down the cellar stairs after she discovered that the dirty dog was having an affair. That's what you get. Current owner Kazuko Nelson hears a piano playing itself every night. Women see a lady in the mirrors in the toilets, but she's gone when like they turn around. There's had quite a lot of paranormal investigators to this place as well. Raylene Cable and Michelle James felt heavy pressure on their necks in the cellar. They captured an EVP saying hello and sensed a male spirit named Stan moving chairs. What Stan's problem is with chairs, but
they sensed the male spirit called Stan. So I guess they named it Stan.
Well, they said they captured him talking on an EVP, so I'm not really sure if they got names, but could have just sensed it. But the staff at the place all report like phantom footsteps, and they all say that they feel like little blows to the neck, like someone's like blowing cold air. So yeah, some tricky entities at that place.
Oh.
So moving on, we've got the National Film and Sound Archive. So this is in Canberra. So originally, the Institute of Anatomy from the 1930s to 1984, it was a mortuary and dissection lab housing human skeletons, animal specimens, and artifacts. Over 50 years, it saw deaths, autopsies, and experiments, including animal testing. It's now the NFSA, but retains its haunted reputation due to, well, its grim past and all the bad energy that's going to be there. So all the staff there report a lot of poltergeist activity in this place. So a lot of things just kind of like slamming. Not really anything sort of relating to any like ghosts or shadowy figures. It just seems to be a lot of angry poltergeist activity. So could be a difference there in like the different kind of energies. Some might attract more poltergeist activity. Some might attract you more fancy ghosts dressed in your Victorian garb. Who knows?
So what's the mining situation over there then? Is it
Not too
metal?
sure, mate. I didn't really look into Australia's iron ore content, but it seems quite rocky. I'm guessing they're going to have their healthy share of iron ore. If I've got any Australian listeners, update us on that, because you know how we feel about iron ore. It's literally a gateway to the spirit realm. So yeah,
I'm pretty sure there's a lot of tin.
Tin?
But I don't know what if that means anything, but tin was mined a lot in Dartmoor, and that's where we had our hairy hands.
Right. The Jenny Dixon Beach, which is Central Coast, New South Wales. So named after an 1800s shipwreck off Nora Head, where a woman and a son drowned. Urban legends tie it to a 1970s assault and a murder of a young hitchhiker by locals. The beach has a history of drownings and wrecks. So a lot of, again, bad stuff happened at this place. So locals report a woman in old-fashioned clothes with outstretched arms searching for a son. One researcher encountered her and verified the shipwreck drivers see a young girl hitchhiking on Wilfrid Barrett Drive and vanish every time from the car, sometimes leaving wet seats or causing panic.
That's quite a common one around the world, though, isn't it? The phantom hitchhiker.
Oh, yeah, classic. Classic. So, moving on to Picton's Mushroom Tunnel, and this is in Picton, New South Wales. So built in 1867 as a railway tunnel, it was abandoned in 1919 due to poor ventilation. Used in World War II for storing mustard gas and ammo. In the 1950s, it grew mushrooms. Not sure if they were magic variety, just says mushrooms. Tragedies include Emily Bollard's 1916 death by train while shortcutting through. An 1884 decapitated body was found, and a 1954 murder of scientist Olaf Perkman nearby. So some bad stuff happened. Visitors see Emily as a faceless woman in white, causing terror and inducing cold spots. There's been paranormal teams there, and they've reported shadow people, whispers, equipment failures, phantom train whistles. One tourist felt paralyzed by an evil spirit, and there's been quite a lot of photos about this place showing the classic orbs. They obviously, again, open it up to some ghost tours, and they've reported like cold spots, ear puffs, mimicking sounds of like an oncoming train, that type of thing.
Don't hear so much about orbs these days.
You don't. I think the UAP phenomenon has kind of like taken over that. They've kind of like pulled it into their vibes. An orb is now a UAP, I think.
Really?
What can you do? Yes, mate. Okay, so coming to the last few ghost stories here. Arradale Mental Hospital, Ararat, Victoria. Opened in 1867, it was Victoria's largest asylum for the criminally insane, housing over 1,000 patients, again with torturous treatments like restraints and isolation. Around 13,000 died there, so quite a bit more than the 9,000 in the other place. And this one was open for, similar to the last place again, 130 years until its closure in the 1990s. It's mad to think that these places only closed in the 90s. Again, like the other place, it now offers ghost tours. And Nurse Kerry appears in the woman's wing, watching groups. I'm guessing she was an old nurse there who has passed away and seems to linger. Investigators feel unexplained pains and touches in the men's surgery area, banging on isolation cells and cold winds from the director's office. There's a spirit called Old Margaret, one of its lifelong residents, who's said to linger. And tour guides report scratches and pushes from Old Margaret. So she don't like anybody there. What can you do?
She can be so mean, can Mags.
She can, mate, but you'd be a bit pissed off as well if you were stuck in a insane asylum.
I don't know.
So lastly, Quinn's Light, which is in the Dowderman Valley of Queensland. So named after John Quinn, who first reported it in the early 1900s near the Go-Go Billy Ranges. Possibly linked to the miner's lamps or natural gas, but folklore ties it to a murdered prospector or indigenous spirits. So these are like little lights. I guess we could class them as orbs, but they call them lights. So Quinn described a yellowish eagle-shaped light hovering. Modern campers have seen it. There's been a lot of reports. One group in the 1990s saw it split into multiple orbs. So these things can be seen in the Go-Go Billy Ranges. If you're ever out there camping, make sure you snap a pic. I like that. I like little orbs. I think they're cool. I think we need to bring them back to the spirit realm.
We need to reclaim them.
Yeah, definitely. Can't go wrong with a good orb. It's a staple of every ghost book.
That's it. I mean, they're like the early stages of a haunting. You need orbs. You can't give them to the UFO people.
No, man, definitely not.
Come up with their own stuff.
Exactly. It's a travesty.
Listen,
travesty.
You UAP UFO nerds, you leave our orbs alone.
Leave our orbs alone. We have touched upon it, but we're going to have a little look in some indigenous, we'll say paranormal, but it's not really paranormal. It's linked into obviously a lot of folklore and things like that. But again, bring some good stories. So as we were talking about the dream time.
You like some tribal stories.
Hell yeah. So indigenous Australian ghost stories and spiritual encounters are deeply tied to dreaming, also called dream time or Jukurpa, a timeless framework where ancestral beings created the land, animals, people, and its laws. Spirits of ancestors, creator beings, and other entities remain present in the landscape, sacred sites, and daily life. Unlike Western ghost stories focused on hauntings from more like, I guess, tragic deaths, many indigenous accounts involve protective ancestors, malevolent spirits enforcing like the law, or beings that basically just interact with our world. So these are not always ghosts in like our sense, but like an ongoing, I guess, sort of spiritual presence.
Whatever gets you through the dark times.
Exactly. So traditional beliefs often avoid naming or depicting the recently deceased to prevent disturbing their spirits. So stories are passed orally, varying by language, group, and sort of religion. But yeah, some beings are like classed as mischievous or protective. Others can be dangerous, but let's have a little run through a few because they're very cool. So the Mimi spirits, which is Arnhem Land, Northern Territory. Mimi are tall, thin spirit beings who lived in rocky ridges before Aboriginal people arrived. They taught humans art. I'm not saying it's aliens, but hunting and ceremonies painted on rock walls. Mimi art is a major rock art style in Kagudu and Arnhem Land. They are elusive, fragile, pretty much like a strong wind can break them, and they can be benevolent or dangerous if disrespected. They represent ancient creature forces in the dreaming. So, like I said, the indigenous artists and custodians describe Mimi as a shy, a shy kind of entity appearing in caves or during ceremonies. So some report hearing them whisper or seeing thin figures dart away. In modern times, people on country traditional land feel the presence near rock art sites with sudden cold spots or sense of being watched. So this is kind of like an old sort of legend that has brought itself into the more spirit realm, I guess. Moving on, the Min Min lights. So similar to what we talked about before, yeah. These again, like floating orbs of light, and they appear in the remote desert lands. But these ones follow people. So predating European settlement, some Aboriginal groups view them as spirits of elders guarding sacred sites or country. Others see them as mischievous entities, leading wanderers astray or as manifestations of ancestral watchfulness. So sightings of these actually increased after the European arrival, and seems to be in quite a lot of accounts. Described as large, fuzzy, glowing lights, quarter moon-sized, hovering silently, sometimes chasing vehicles, or like I say, they can even chase people for like miles. So paranormal reports include confusion, fear, or a sense of being guided or protected. So it seems like they don't know about these things, but either or, big fan of the orb.
Being guided by someone chasing them, not being herded.
Well, different reports. Some see him as, like, say, protective. Some see him as a bit malevolent. I just hope I get the protective kind. Okay, so the Kudacha man.
Oh, I've never heard of this, but I like the sound of it already.
It's going to be good. A ritual executioner or sorcerer who enforces tribal law. So he's badass. Wearing feather slippers to leave no tracks. Okay? So it's also sensible.
Yeah.
He points the bone.
He's got tradecraft as well.
This is it, man. So yeah, he points the bone to curse wrongdoers. That's what it says. He who points the bone.
Well, consider yourself cursed, yeah.
That's one way to stop a wrongdoer. Imagine that.
You look at me with that eye. Yeah.
So when he points the bone, it causes illness or death. So it's not a nice bone. Associated with justice in the dreaming, often linked to powerful men or clever women.
Powerful men or clever women?
Yeah. You know how these tales can get wacky. In lore and some modern yarns, people report shadowy figures in the bush or feeling a presence during disputes. Accounts describe sudden sickness after breaking law, attributed to Kardutch's curse. Some describe seeing a figure in traditional attire vanishing into the ether. But yeah, I like that guy. You had me at ritual executioner or sorcerer.
Yeah, it's got a bit... It commands a bit of respect as a job title.
Exactly.
You know, seer, shaman, just sounds a bit overdone. You know, but ritual executioner sounds like you got to be good at your job.
Hell yeah! All the time in the world for sorcerer.
Sorcerer.
So,
but that could be just the name of someone who makes very nice sauces.
So, moving on to our last one, the Mokoi. So, Yulungu people, Arnhem Land. An evil spirit that kidnaps and eats children. Man, Australians know how to do it, man. I love these stories. Featured in Yolngu stories as a warning against wandering alone. So don't be wandering alone, or this guy is going to eat your children. Just saying.
You know, I would say just don't wander alone in Australia, because you'll get bit or stung off something, and then you're dead and no one knows. So you need someone to like run for help or run to tell someone what happened. Otherwise, you've been stanged up and you're dead. And nobody knows.
You try explaining that to a kid, or just say, "Look, don't wander alone, because there's a spirit that might eat you." That's more exciting. Do you know what I mean? You got to jazz it up for a kid. Can't be like, well, there's venomous creatures and you might step on a cactus. So all traditions warn of hearing cries or seeing dark shapes near waterholes at night, pretty much. Again, parents use the story to keep the children safe. But some reported eerie feelings or even seeing apparitions in remote areas of the Mokoi. We're just going to finish up now. I tried to look into some haunted houses, some good old classic stories, but I came across what seemed to be Australia's most haunted house. So, based on numerous sources, including historical records, paranormal investigations, media reports, the Monte Cristo homestead in Junee, New South Wales, this one's widely regarded as Australia's most haunted house. So its reputation stems from a pretty dark history of tragic deaths, reported ghostly presences, at least 10 documented spirits, and consistent eyewitness accounts of paranormal activity over decades. And this property has been featured on TV shows like Ghost Hunters International, My Ghost Story, The Scream Test, as well as documentaries, ghost tours, loads of stuff. Yeah, this place is in a small railway town about 40 kilometres northwest of Wagga Wagga and 460 kilometres southwest of Sydney, perched on a hill overlooking the town. So the Monte Cristo homestead, it's a two-storey late Victorian-style manor, and it was constructed back in 1885 by local pioneer and entrepreneur Christopher William Crawley. So the homestead's haunting are tied to at least 10 tragic deaths and events on the property, with reports dating back to Crawley's era but intensifying after Ryan's arrival in 1963. So paranormal activity includes poltergeist phenomena, objects moving, flying about, disembodied whispers, unexplained mists, few shadow people, and orbs appearing in like photos, lights switching on and off, classic cold spots, strange smells. So full range, mate, full range. Overwhelming sadness or nausea.
Overwhelming sadness. I like that. We've not had that description before.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Overwhelming sadness. Yeah. I'll buy that.
Yeah.
I'll buy that. That would make a haunting upsetting.
Definitely.
Overwhelmingly upsetting and sad. But yeah, I like that description. It's grand.
Cool.
Into it.
So we'll have a look at a couple of its ghosts. So mainly dating to sort of like people who obviously lived in the house. So Christopher Crawley's ghost, often seen as a benevolent figure in period attire haunting his death room, which is the boys' room upstairs. Eyewitnesses include tour guides and visitors report a kind presence aligning with his generous reputation. Activity includes footsteps and sense of being watched. Then we've got Elizabeth Crawley's ghost. This is the dominant spirit, appearing as a stern woman in black, like kind of like mourning clothes. So I'm guessing as in like funeral attire. She just stands on the veranda or the stairs judging people. If displeased, she causes ice cold sensations on the skin. But she was classed as like basically ruling with an iron fist. So this went on into the spirit realm, and she's just
just carry on being a dick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But at least she's trapped in the house. There was the pregnant maid's ghost. In the late 1800s, Crawley impregnated a maid who, in despair, jumped from the balcony in 1898, dying on the stairs below. All I know is Crawley was a randy bugger if he was banging his maids. You know what I'm saying? So a ghostly bloodstain appears at the impact site. Her apparition haunts the veranda and balcony, with visitors hearing cries or even feeling themselves being pushed.
Creepy Crawley.
Hell yeah. There's Harold's ghost, and this is the son of another maid who was there. Born around the late 1800s to a second impregnated maid, Harold suffered severe head trauma as a child when he was hit by a coach on the grounds. Chained in the coach house due to his disabilities, he was mocked by locals and later institutionalized after his mother's death. His spirit wanders the grounds, with chains rattling and screams heard in the coach house. So again, another sad one. Okay, finishing up, we've got Ethel Crawley's ghost. Christopher's infant granddaughter died in 1917 after being dropped or pushed by an unseen force down the stairs by a nursemaid. Children on tours become upset when they're on the stairs, so they can sense this lady, feeling tiny cold hands or pushes. Adults have reported invisible shoves upstairs, so this is definitely like a kind of a nasty sort of spirit. And finishing up, we've got Jack Simpson's ghost. Jack Simpson was a caretaker and he was shot dead on the porch in 1960, so a bit more of a recent one, by a local man. The guy who carved "Die Jack Die, ha ha ha" on the shed door, where this is actually apparently still visible. His apparitions appear near the porch with gunshots sometimes heard. Cool. So yeah, mate. So that was Paranormal Australia. What your thoughts?
So yeah, I come down on Australian paranormal. I'm into it.
Yep. Same, mate. I like the stories. So I hope we did you proud, Australians. And I think this is my stop coming up, mate. So I will catch you on the next one.
Ding ding.
Ding, bloody ding.